Hello, it's a new week, and so I have a new challenge. I challenge you and me to pay attention to how we are showing up for those around us, for our teams, for our family, for our friends. How are we showing up? On our good days, when we wake up with energy, it's really easy to show up in a positive and supportive way for our teams, right? But what about those other days? You know, the days where you're tired, maybe your Wi-Fi is acting up again, my dog would never get on my last nerve, I'm sure. Your family member, your coworker, or your fellow commuter, somebody just jumped up on that last nerve of yours and you are so frustrated, angry, impatient, whatever that is. That's okay. We all have days like that. The key here is that before you share that pain with others, we need to acknowledge where you're at right now and take action to shake that off before we share it with others, right? So how can we do that? Well, first, we need to acknowledge the suck. This morning sucked. Oh well, I have to acknowledge that happened. I acknowledge that I'm impatient or I'm frustrated or whatever it is. You're going to name it, you're going to call it out, and then you're going to pay attention to how it is feeling. How am I reacting emotionally and physically? So because of those emotions that I'm having, what's my body doing? When I get tense or anxious, I might find my shoulders are creeping up by my ears, my cheeks are getting red, maybe I'm feeling a little more heated, maybe your heart's beating a little faster, whatever it is. All of that is feedback that our body is giving us because our bodies are pretty genius. So they are giving us feedback from that emotion or the environment around us. It's saying, hey, pay attention. And oftentimes we're so busy or on to our next thing that we don't pay any attention to it. We just keep on racing forward, sharing that pain, sharing that frustration with those around us. But our body is telling us, hey, something's happening here that is not the best. So pay attention to it. Focus on it so that you can clear it, right? So from there, you can acknowledge it, receive that feedback that you're getting from your body, and then do something to clear it. And I mean literally take an action, a physical action, to clear it before you show up in a negative way for your teams or your family or people around you. So some ideas on what you can try. I have a couple ideas to share with you. One, and they might be a little odd, but I just try it, go for it. So the first one is to just say, no, thank you. I am not going to start my day like this. No, thank you. I want to reset. The second is to find a quiet space, however you need to find that, if it's in your car, in your office, or if you have to go to a bathroom stall. I hope you don't, but maybe you do. Just find a quiet space where you can breathe deep from the tip of your toes all the way to your head, at least 2 deep intentional breaths. 5 minutes is even better. 10 minutes would be amazing. Sometimes we can't carve out a full 10 minutes, right? But just take that time and take some intentional deep breaths. Okay, the third thing you need to do is when you're in a really deep suck, like today is rough, I'm upset or I'm angry, something you can do to get your heart rate up in a short burst of activity to clear that negative energy, clear that negative emotion. So you might do jumping jacks. Set your timer for a minute and do some jumping jacks, or take a brisk walk around the block. And I'm not talking a little happy stroll. I'm saying literally take a brisk walk to get that heart rate up a little bit. If you're a runner, wonderful to take a run at that moment and be able to clear it. I know that's not always realistic. Or, hey, here's an idea. You could do some burpees, because when I do burpees, I absolutely clear my brain, because all I can think about at that moment is to breathe. That's all. I can't process anything else other than breathing. So that's a perfect example of when we are in a really difficult place where we need to clear that energy, you've got to do something physical to get rid of it. in nature, you'll see that animals do this actually. So Eckhart Tolle, in the Power of Now, the book he wrote, Power of Now, talks about this when he was watching ducks on a pond one day, and they were fighting, and one of the ducks just got super angry and frustrated, flapped his wings. I mean, I'm sure, how can we tell if it's frustrated? But anyway, got upset, flapped its wings, and flew off. And away it went. All was well. And when he told that story, it really stuck with me that sometimes we just need to flap our wings. Like, we need to release that energy in whatever way feels right at that moment for us. So it's these things or something better, or a combination of these things. So do something, take an action, and then when you're done, take a minute and reflect and appreciate the fact that you took time, you did something to get a little better. No matter how small that step was, let there be momentum in that small action that you took to show up stronger and in more positive way. I can't guarantee you're going to feel perfect, but you are going to feel better and more present when you are intentional. And when we do that, we ultimately are going to perform better, and we're going to support our team better. So this week, the challenge is to pay attention to how you show up for yourself, for your family, for your team. I hope you have a beautiful, productive, joy-filled week. If so, great. Pay attention to how wonderful that feels. If not, that's okay too. Just take in the information, pay attention to how you are reacting emotionally and physically to what's happening around you, and then determine to show up a little stronger by taking an action to clear that negative energy. You are worth it. Take steps to pay attention to how you're showing up, and if it's not how you want to show up, then take a physical action to clear that energy. You've got this. Have a great week.